Okay, so good morning, everyone. It took me time to do this recording because I need to squeeze in my time for our schedule, but then it is difficult for me. That's why I decided that everything has to be recorded. Instead, that we are going to have virtual classroom meeting because also of the time constraint and also of the internet connectivity. There are instances in which it's going to rain, just like today it's raining, so it will be difficult for us to meet, or maybe there are some disturbance in the weather condition. It would be difficult for us to meet. That's why it would be easier for me to do the recording or this PowerPoint with audio annotation uploaded in the YouTube, and then you are going to browse it there. Okay, so the first lesson that we are going to have is the teaching mathematics through problem solving. So I am your teacher. I'm Dr. Lisa Lorena Sihala, the Research Director of the University of the Visayas. Okay, so in this lesson, we are going to focus on the importance of problem solving and how to teach mathematics through problem solving. Also, problem solving is a goal of learning math and also the means of doing so. So, it allows students or you or your future students to explore, develop, and apply their understanding of mathematical concepts. Okay, so this is now the application, the connection of the teaching of those abstract concepts to solve real life problems. But what is a problem? Okay, so according to Krolik and Rudnick in 1995, they see a problem as a situation, a quantitative or otherwise, that confront an individual or groups of individual, and it requires resolution, and for which the individual sees no apparent or obvious means or path of obtaining a solution. Okay, so right now the one that is really pressing to us is the solving on how to minimize or how to stop the spread of the COVID-19 virus with the SARS-CoV-2 virus. Okay, so that's pressing because we need to solve it through vaccination, and that is through herd immunity, and we need to vaccinate as many as 73 million Filipinos in order to achieve herd immunity. Okay, so that's the one pressing. So although it's requiring not only mathematical means of solving it, but also other scientific means. But still, that is a problem. Okay, so the kind of okay, so mathematics problems are also routine, non-routine, well-structured, moderately structured, ill-structured, open, and closed. Okay, so when we say routine, these are real-life situations. So when we say real-life problems or situations that require simple mathematical skills, you will simply add or subtract. But you need to choose also, you need to understand and to choose the algorithm. Okay, what type of math that you are going to use to solve for it. And storytelling is okay. You don't need to do various strategies and methods to solve, unlike in the non-routine that you have to use that. Although you need to do understanding also to choose for the right algorithm, but you need complex math skills because the type of problem that you're facing for the non-routine problems are complex. Okay, so well structured is always that type of problem in which you are going to use the same step-by-step solution. The same problems that we are going to find for the value of an unknown when we are doing algebra. Okay, so we have the same step-by-step solution either, or you're going to find value of the unknowns in a given systems of linear equation. It's the same thing. Either you will use elimination, either you will use substitution. That's the same step-by-step solution. There is no other way, and it's predictable, of course. And of course, if it is a math problem, it has only one correct answer. Because you have to remember that mathematics is stochastic. There is one correct answer. So if your answer is different from that correct answer, then that is automatically wrong. And for well-structured kind of math problem, all the given information are usually part of the problem. So you don't need to gather info. You don't need to look for the other information, but it is already part of the problem. That's why this type of math problem is easier to solve. Okay, while for the moderately structured math problem, it requires varying strategies. So you can have this one, you can have this one. So you can have a trial and error method, but then you will have one correct answer. Okay, so just like in finding for the unknown, you have a lot of finding for the unknown in a systems of linear equation. Either you will use elimination, either you will use substitution, but then you are arriving at a one correct answer. So that's moderately structured. And in a moderately structured problem, there are some unknowns that you need to find first for you to solve the whole problem. So there are some information that must be gathered. While for ill-structured problems, so vague and it has unclear goals. A solution is not well defined and it has with multiple prospective goals and solutions, and it is not fully satisfactory, no fully satisfactory solution at all, and you need to solve it by gathering a lot of data. Okay, so you need to explore in this type of math problem. You need to explore. Sometimes you will be facing with this in real life situations that you need to do this, to do that. You will have to do trial and error in order for you to arrive at a solution, but there is no fully satisfactory solution at all. Okay, so then you need to remember that the primary goal of problem solving is making sense of mathematics. That's it. Okay, you have to make sense of math. It's not before that mathematics or mathematicians is living in an ivory tower and their thinking is very different. Of course, right now, we need to inculcate in our students that these abstract mathematical concepts could be related to real life situations. So that is making sense of mathematics. And the teacher has the responsibility to promote that experience of problem solving through strategies that they are going to use in the classroom, and also to foster in their students a positive attitude towards problem solving. So it is the teacher, it is you as a future teacher that is going to make or unmake your students' way of solving mathematics, and it is you who is going to make and unmake a future mathematician or a future math teacher, because if you do not know how to teach mathematics, then students would hate mathematics. Okay, so they might be thinking that math is very difficult, they would hate it. But when you are going to express that math is just like in English, that you need to have a subject and a verb for you to have a sentence and not a fragment in the same, that's the same as math. Okay, so you need to do addition and you need to do subtraction. In the dangling modifiers, you need to do subtraction, because you need to remove the dangling modifier so your sentence is going to make sense. So it is how you're going to relate or to connect the concept of mathematics to other disciplines. Just like in science, you have to do mathematics also in science, because you are going to mix ingredients in TLE. You have to measure, or in textbook, you need to measure this. There are some measurements, and that is mathematics. If you are taking up accountancy, if you are if you are teaching students in the ABM strand, then they have business mathematics, and you need to connect them. Or maybe if your parents are, or the parents of your children are fish vendors, or they are selling big time fish, or if they are suppliers, they need to understand the mathematics of of markup, the mathematics of discount, and the mathematics of putting interest if somebody is not going to pay their obligation on time. So you, being a future teacher, you have the responsibility to promote that uh, pleasant experience of problem solving in the classroom. So when you are having a math class, you need to set the tone of your class into a problem solving classroom. Okay, so problem solving is being able to solve math problems occurring in daily lives and in the workplace. Of course, when you are going to work later on after you graduate your course, there are some mathematical problems that occurs in the workplace that needs you to solve it. And when you solve a problem, that should be able to use the language of math to express and communicate or in a form of mathematical thinking. Okay, so for example, if you are a head, just like in my case, I am the head of the research department, so I need to make sure that when there is accreditation, the number of faculty assigned in that department should be master's degree holder should have research for it to pass in the accreditation. So there is some mathematical thinking, and I have to express that to our executive officer so that he would understand that I need to realign, I need to transfer faculty from other department like those teaching English, because it's easy for them to be on the service course, English, math, PE, or the languages and social sciences. So that's it. You are trying to solve a problem in the workplace, and you will be able to communicate it through forms of mathematical thinking by presenting it in terms of percentage. And problem solving is not only a goal of learning math, but also a major means of doing so. So it should be the mainstay of mathematical thinking, problem solving. And the problem solving process is that kindergarten, if we're going to look at it in the kindergarten level, okay, so it's very different from those already in the grade school, or let's say in the grade 3, okay. So initially they will rely on intuition, okay, but the grade 3 already has the exposure of or experience, or they already have this this thinking, or they have already formed the concept, so they have different ways of solving problems. So in the basic education levels in the kindergarten, when we are going to teach them the concept of addition, we are using either popsicle sticks or we are using beads. Okay, so they're going to have these beads or anything that we can find. If we are teaching in the province and we can find some stones or pebbles, then we can use that as a means of teaching students concept of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. But when they are going to move on to the next level in a spiraling method, in a spiraling way, the problems are going to be a bit complicated because they already have the basic concept of doing it. So problems will become complicated. That is, we are teaching them to be more critical in solving problems, and it is becoming more abstract. That's why algebra is the abstraction of arithmetic. If you notice, algebra is just the highest form of arithmetic. So the ones that we are teaching in the elementary levels are arithmetic, simple addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. But in algebra, we are abstracting the concepts, so we introduce variables, the x and the y. We introduce them that sometimes we need to deal with abstract ideas. Okay, so problems serve two main purposes. That is to explore develop and apply conceptual understanding of a mathematical concept. So this is the one I told a while ago. That's one of the two main purposes of problem solving. And the other one is to guide students through the development of inquiry or problem solving processes and strategies. So that is teaching about problem solving. And the teacher's role here is as facilitator is crucial in the provision of an effective problem solving experience. So it is crucial because the teacher must do an extraordinary planning. Okay, so you do the planning. What type of activities am I going to prepare? Would it be engaging all the students in that problem solving so that the lesson, the experience is going to be relevant? And of course, you have that art of questioning. The way you phrase questions is also a skill, and the teacher must possess that. Because if you do not know how to ask questions, you are not stimulating your readers to think, and it is going to become a problem because of the poor thinking or of the poor questioning. The students will say, what is that? What kind of question is that? How am I going to answer that? Okay, so yeah, the teacher must have that skill of questioning. And since he's going to prepare, do the planning, the teacher must have to think of a problem-based classroom. How is he going to prepare? So there are opportunities for teachers to work with each other. So when you are in the teaching profession, you're not going to be a stand-alone, but there is collaboration. There are experts. So there are your consultants, or there are your subject coordinators, in which they already have a lot of experience in the field. So you have to coordinate with them so that you would receive feedback from what their observation, and that will allow you to work for skill development. So if you are skilled enough, then of course that skill is going to be transferred to your students. Okay, so but at the same time, there is a more challenging effort required of the teacher. Okay, so you must be, if you are a new teacher, you do not have the skills that you have learned or from the four walls of the classroom, but it is different when you are in the actual field. So you have to remember that only 10% of what you learned in the school can be applied when you are going to work. Only 10%. All the rest are, when you are in that field of work, it's for your common sense. That's why there are subjects that are there to teach you how to develop the critical thinking, the common sense. Because sometimes, most of these days, in the recent times, there is sense but there is no common. Okay, so you might find it funny, but there is sense, but it's not common. There is no common sense on some of our students because they are like parrots. When you are going to tell them you do this, we will do that, teacher. So it's like a parroting. So you don't have, it should be avoided in a classroom, the parroting. Okay, so and problem-based classrooms requires teachers to dare to let go of control of the learning. Okay, so it is not the teacher who is going to discuss all the time, this is how to solve this, plus plus, minus minus, like that. But you have to allow them to do the solving. So what is the role of the teacher is a questionnaire, an interrogator in some sense, or a coach. Okay, so coaching. Yes, what's next? How are you going to solve it? So you are encouraging your students. It's not that when they do not know how to solve it, you're stupid. You really are criminals. You cannot even do this addition. This is very simple like that, so you don't have to do that to your students. Okay, so when you are going to teach them how to solve problems, you have to guide them, support them, or you will be a diagnostician. So why is it that this child has difficulty in doing mathematics? Maybe because, as we know, the multiple intelligences, there are really people who are very good at math, some are not. So you cannot expect that if that in a class all of them are very good in math, but you have to encourage them to do math and to love math. But you have to diagnose also what is really the problem of this child. Or maybe you have this child that cannot really read. What is really the problem? Maybe the child is dyslexic. Yeah, Tom Cruise is dyslexic. So when he's going to read, it's some sort that it's backwards. Okay, so but then you you need to entertain them. You need to encourage them how to do things right. Okay, so problem-based classrooms also require letting go of your control. Okay, and yeah, balik na ni siya. It's already repeated. And the lack of training, of course, teachers should be trained. It's not that when you are going to graduate, you are going to stop learning. You have to continue uh, studying. You need to continue learning because education is a never-ending process. Okay, so of course, it should be collaborative with the school. So there are science schools that you need to do this, more of the mathematics. Okay, so and also for students to be like they love math, there is also some form of reward. Not that you are going to punish them for not answering properly the problem. Okay, so the last slide is on the activity number 1. You need to answer this. Can you think of other reasons why the teacher should be a facilitator in a problem-solving classroom? That's 10 points. I forgot to put points for the critiquing of this math problem, but that is also 10 points. And you have to email your answers to me through that email address, and the deadline is May 25. If you cannot finish, then you have to tell me that you will not be able to finish it because you have also other activities, and that is okay. Um, it's better later than never. Okay, so and then if you have questions regarding this video presentation, so I would like you to post it in our group chat so that you would be able to, I would be able also to answer your queries. But please, you ask only the same. If you have the same question as the one who posted earlier, then do not ask anymore. Okay, so you need to, I will answer anyway your question, the same as the one posted earlier, can be answered already. Okay, so please wait for the next announcement for the next lesson because we need to finish this one before June 21. So you would expect that a lot of recordings will be posted and links will be uh, posted in our group chat.